Good evening, you are with Hendri de Klerk from Ultima Financial Planners on this week's edition of Kingdom Wealth Through Financial Planning, your weekly program where we aim to equip and to inspire our listeners to make better financial decisions based on biblical principles. I hope this evening that you are ready for another session on habits. We started the theme of habits last week where we spoke in general about habits and why they are important. What are habits? I'll recap some of it also this evening. But it's an interesting theme and an interesting talk this, and I think it's challenging also because habits, as shown in some of the research we spoke about last week, habits is takes up most of your day. What you are doing is formed out of habits. So what are habits? To recap that from last week, habits are the small decisions and actions we repeat regularly, often without thinking. They are the routines and behaviors that shape much of our daily lives. From brushing our teeth in the morning to how we react under stress or manage our money. Over time, these repeated behaviors become automatic, forming patterns in our brains that guide our actions with minimal conscious effort. And why are habits important? Habits are powerful because they shape our outcomes more than once-off decisions. Most of the results we see in our health, finances, relationships, and careers come not from big dramatic choices, but from small things we do consistently. Good habits move us towards our goals with little effort once they're established, and bad habits, on the other hand, can quietly pull us away from the life we want. In other words, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. And good habits help improve your physical and mental well-being, strengthen relationships and communication, build financial stability and long-term wealth, and make difficult things feel easier over time. It's like riding a bicycle. Initially, you would struggle and you would not understand it, but eventually it just happens naturally. That is a habit that is formed and it can be repeated. So today, let's talk about something simple but powerful. It's not about how much money you earn or even how much you know about finance. It's about your habits. That's right, your financial habits. And we're going to talk over the next few weeks and focus a bit more on financial habits. Since this is a financial planning program and we aim to inspire and equip our listeners to make better financial decisions, financial habits is key, is center, is so important, and we have to talk about this and we have to review ourselves. We have to check, are the habits that we employ and that we have, are they healthy, are they good, and are they repeatable, and will they help you to, at the end of the day, achieve your financial goals and objectives. So habits are stronger than willpower. Researchers at Duke University found that about 40% of what we do every day is habit, not a decision we make on the spot. Think about that. If your money habits are automatic, they're either helping you or they're hurting you. If you're regularly saving, even a little, that's building your future. If you automatically swipe your card for takeaways every day, that's also building something, just not the future you probably want. So small habits can make a big impact. It's not about massive financial overhauls. It's about the small things you do consistently. Do you track your spending, for instance? Do you save before you spend? Do you avoid unnecessary debt? People who do these small things regularly tend to have emergency savings, less financial stress, and more confidence about their future. That's not by chance, that's by habit. Money habits and mental health. Let's talk about that for a moment. Money stress is real. In fact, many South Africans report feeling anxious or overwhelmed about their finances, especially when living with debt or uncertainty. But here's the good news. Good financial habits reduce stress. When you feel in control of your money, you feel more in control of your life. It's like fitness. You don't have to run a marathon. You just need to get moving a little bit every day. Let's talk about habits and resilience. Good money habits help you bounce back when life hits you with the unexpected, like a medical bill, car repairs, or a change of income. Saving regularly, even just 500 Rand a month, gives you breathing room. Budgeting gives you awareness. Avoiding unnecessary debt gives you freedom. And all of this creates what we call financial resilience, the ability to handle life's ups and downs without falling apart financially. Money that matches your life. Finally, and maybe the most importantly, your habits help you live the life you want. Whether it's retiring comfortably, helping your kids, traveling, or starting your own business, your financial habits are what get you there. Slowly, surely, and one day at a time. So that's why it is important to talk about this, to think about it, to have a process where you actually review and you actually have a look, you check yourself. What are my financial habits? And what is the outcome, or what is the fruit that is produced from these financial habits that I employ? Very important questions, very important things to talk about and to think about. So the question is probably, what can you start doing today? And here's a couple of quick wins, which I want to leave with you just before we get to the break. Firstly, track your spending for 1 week. Just see where your money is going. This is so important for us to get around a realization and an awareness of what you are spending your money on. Interesting enough, we tend to focus on the small things and want to correct them and not the big, larger expenses in our expenditure framework. So it's important to have a look at those and to see, and just create that awareness. So I'm challenging our listeners just for 1 week to go through the process and get a way of tracking it, and after the week, summarize and see where your money has went for that week. Ideally, this would be for a month, because 1 week, especially a middle week in the month, could not be that significant in your wider spectrum of expenses through a month. Number 2, set up a small automatic transfer to savings. This could even be into your bond, let's say of 200 Rand. And this could be a weekly thing, a monthly thing. But just set that up, get a foot in the door and start saving. Start a weekly money check-in. 10 minutes to review and reset. And this is what I alluded to, that goes hand in hand with your weekly spend tracking. So check yourself, track your spending, and you will be surprised to see and to find what value can be derived from these good habits that one can employ. So we encourage our clients, we encourage our listeners to build on good habits. And as I went through my intro this evening, it's just so important to note that habits can be changed over time. It's hard work, it'll take a lot of effort, but it's not to say that if you have really struggled with debt and you are in the slump and it's a continuous thing, that you can't get out of it. There's many testimonies, many examples of people that has been able to change their habits, especially when it comes to debt, and to then get freedom, get out of that. It is a spiral, and it will drown you, it will kill you, it will not have a positive effect on you if you continue with these bad habits, such as overspending and incurring too much debt. So let me ask you a question as we transition from just talking about habits to actually how it's affecting your health. What is the first thing you do when you get paid? Do you transfer something into savings, pay the bills, swipe for takeaways? Maybe you don't even look. Just hope there's enough to get through the month. Whatever your answer is, this is a financial habit. And today I want to talk to you about these habits. Not your salary, not your luck, and how it has a huge influence on your financial health. We tend to think about money, about the big moments, buying a house, getting a raise, landing in debt, or financially retiring. But the truth is, your financial life is shaped by the small things you do every day. It's not the once-off decisions that make or break you, it's the daily habits. Whether you plan your spending or just tap and go, whether you save first or last, whether you check your statements or avoid them, you are what you repeatedly do. Financial health is no different. Let me tell you about Tabu. Tabu is a school teacher, doesn't earn a fortune, but every month he puts away 500 Rand into a savings account. He also tracks his spending using a simple app on his phone. Every December, he uses the savings for festive season costs, cash only. No debt, no stress. Now compare that with someone earning twice as much, but who lives on credit, has no savings, and feels consistently overwhelmed. Who is in better shape? You see, it's not about how you make money or how much money you make. It's about how well you manage what you make. Now let's flip the coin. Here's what often happens with poor money habits. You don't budget, so you overspend. You live on credit, so your income disappears into repayments. You don't track your spending, so small expenses pile up unnoticed. You don't save, so every crisis becomes a debt problem. Before you know it, you're living your payday from payday to payday. Not because you're lazy or careless, but because the habits are working against you. Financial stress can creep in slowly, and it affects more than your bank balance. It affects your sleep, affects your health, it affects your relationships. In fact, a study by Sanlam found that people with poor financial habits are more likely to feel anxious, overwhelmed, and stuck. Let's break it down clearly. Here's how strong financial habits lead to better financial health. Your first habit, tracking your expenses weekly. Long-term benefit, more awareness, less overspending. Second habit, saving consistently. Long-term benefit, emergency fund, less reliance on credit. Third habit, paying off debt monthly. Long-term benefit, lower stress, better credit score. Habit, review finances monthly. Long-term benefit, helps you stay in control. And lastly, the habit of investing early and often will result in building a life, a good amount of wealth over time. And here's the kicker. None of these habits require you to be rich. They just require you to be consistent. So what can you do to move from money stress to money strength? Here are 3 habits you can start this week. And I mentioned this just before the break. That's my challenge to you this week. Just track every cent you spend for the next 7 days. Just for 1 week, use a notebook, use something or an app, or write it down, or just add it on. It is the middle week of the month, so maybe you want to look at 1 month's expenses. Set up an automatic savings and transfer. And 100 Rand a month, automate it. And when it's out of sight, you don't miss it. Have a weekly 10-minute money check-in. Just check into yourself and see what is happening with your finances. When people think financial health, they picture having millions in the bank, but that's not what it means. Not really. Financial health is being able to handle an emergency without panic, sleeping well, knowing that you're not drowning in debt, and feeling like money is supporting your life, not sabotaging it. And the path to that kind of peace, it's made of habits. Simple, small, repeated often. My final thought this evening on habits is you don't need to wait until you're earning more, or until things are less busy, or until next year. You can start building better financial health right now with habits you choose today. So here's your challenge for the week, and pick one. Just build just one and build it and keep going, because your future isn't shaped by one big moment. It's shaped by what you do with your money every day. Fabulous. Great stuff. Guys, I think we really need to spend more time thinking about these things and thinking about habits and positioning ourselves in a place where we have oversight, where we are able to review ourselves and keep ourselves accountable. If you feel that you struggle with that, it's always a great idea to get an accountability partner, someone in that can keep you accountable and that can help you to check, are you on track with all these things? Are you building on something that is on a foundation that is worth building? And good habits is surely that foundation which you want to get into place. Thank you for joining me this evening. It's been a great privilege. This evening we are getting into financial habits. I've alluded to some specific financial habits. We're going to talk about more specific financial habits in the coming weeks. This is just a transition from talking about habits into financial habits, and also to state and to create that awareness that good habits results into also good health and well-being. And we can't underestimate that and understate that. The fact that you are not physically well might be an indication that financially things are not going that well. And then it's also something that pops up to help you realize, listen, I have to work on my financial habits and I have to improve in this specific area of my life. So thank you for joining me this evening. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a lovely week, a warm and great week. We'll catch up again next week. And all that's left for me to say is God bless and happy planning.